cuties, besties, and ghosties. This is Muertera. Welcome to my channel, Muertera. Hello. Hi to my returning viewers. So excited to have you here and have you back. For my new folks, hello. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy readings like this, definitely consider subscribing, liking, commenting. That really helps me grow my channel, and I'm just so grateful to have you here. Today we are going to be asking about your next significant relationship. So we will start out with oracles. We'll look at how you and your person are showing up in this connection, what the kind of overall theme of the relationship will be. And then we're going to look at both kind of the shadow and light aspects of your relationship. So things where you're both really, really strong in and kind of complement each other. And then other aspects where you really challenge each other to grow, because all relationships, they have their ups and downs and they're truly about growth. After we do that kind of energy check, we will move into tarot and we'll ask a little bit about how this connection is going to manifest in your life. So kind of the energies you'll be in, what that looks like, and maybe you'll get some clues on when you'll meet this person. I don't really know. I'm going to leave it up to Spirit to give us the messages that that you need to hear. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this one. So we have 3 piles for my friends who have never done a pick a pile reading. You're going to pick one reading and then you will, or one pile is a reading, I guess. And then you will pick or click on the link in the description down in the description. Oh my gosh. I'm already a little bit tongue-tied, so I wonder if there's a pile in here where like communication is going to be a struggle. I feel that. So yeah, if I don't see you in your reading, I will see you in the pick a pile section. Might as well cut this now while I'm ahead. Okay, I will see you there. Bye. Hi cuties. So let's dig into your piles today. For the first pile, we have the YinYang Tarot, and we have a piece of red carnelian. So carnelian is a stone that is all about boldness, courageous energy, really putting yourself out there. So if you were called to that, this could be your pile. Our second pile is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, and we have a piece of green adventuring. Also kind of about putting yourself out there, but definitely a stone that is really a carefree spirit, really about getting out there, having new experiences, learning, growing, and doing it with an adventurous spirit. So if that is calling to you, this may be your pile. And then we have the Santa Muerte Tarot, and we have a piece of amethyst. So really great crystal for connecting with your spiritual guides, your spirituality, your third eye. If that is calling to you, this may be your pile. Okay, friends, hopefully you've had enough time to choose your pile, and click down in the links in the description if you haven't already, and I will see you in your reading. Bye! Hi cuties, if you picked this piece of red carnelian and this YinYang Tarot, this is your pile. We're going to put off the tarot to the side, and I have pre-shuffled some oracles for you. Whew. I feel like I'm settling down a little bit from the intro. I was really excited. Yeah, so let's get into it. The first card that I pulled for overall energy for your reading, oh my gosh, my plant is kind of out of control here, is Endurance, number 32. For your person, I'm going to do an A-B spread here, and I'm going to read as your person that you're going to be in the relationship with on the left, and then you on the right. So we have movement, inspiration is drawn to motion. This could be flip-flopped as well. So if you are feeling like, you know, you're on one side and the other person is on the other side, like, it doesn't really matter for this reading because we're not really asking too much about like feelings or intentions or specifics like that. So on the right, we have Witch's Hat, express yourself, share your gifts with the world. And depending on the piles, we may have some like significant mirroring. So you might find aspects of yourself and your future partner on both sides. It's kind of, I didn't set up the spread to be like really hard and fast with that. As an energy that you both bring to the table and kind of bond over, we have number 4, I am stable. As something that you struggle with, you may be my communication pile. I am afraid to contact you. So there may be some difficulties around communication or some fears coming into the relationship. We have the prayer in reverse, as well as the unseen in reverse, as kind of like shared connecting energies. And then we have, this could be the one, forgiving and learning, and reconciliation. And then to kind of top it all off, we have a few intuitive cards. So we have, oh my gosh, I just moved all of them. We have emotional double duty. I want to sneak around her and it's not working, so we'll just put her on top. We have big dick energy and treading water. Sometimes with my nails, when I can't pick up cards, it's a time. Okay. So I kind of want to just start out with this central energy here of endurance. I feel like this is going to be a connection that is not going to come immediately easily. And that isn't because the two of you like aren't really like immediately drawn to one another. I actually really do think that there is a lot of really strong attraction like from the get-go here, especially with big dick energy coming out. Like I felt this before this came out. This was a pile where I kind of like sometimes when I'm shuffling the oracles, I kind of get the vibe, but it's not until I really like lay them out and like sit in it for a while. I guess not that long, but that I really kind of like pick it up. This, I feel like both of you are really struggling with kind of hopes and fears when it comes to love. And I feel like there might be some like perfectionist energies here as well that make it a little bit more difficult for you two to communicate and connect at first. Like I sense kind of like a fear of doing things wrong or of messing up. Like forgiving and learning here, I don't see it so much as like you're going to need to forgive this person for a lot of things. I feel like it's like forgiving yourself and really learning to be able to express yourself and put that out into the world. I think that your person is someone who is able to express themselves a little bit more, like they express themselves through action. And I don't know that they are as comfortable speaking their emotions or they might be a little bit avoidant, or like, honestly, I feel like part of the fear is coming from them. Um, I feel like you, on the other hand, I feel like you're more willing to express yourself emotionally, but I do think you kind of like keep a tight lid on your feelings, and tend to kind of almost like fade into the background. Like, I get a little bit of wallflower energy from you. This card like talks about being able to share your gifts with the world, and I feel like when you're really comfortable, you're very good at expressing yourself. But when you're in an environment where you don't feel like it's welcome, or maybe there are like other energies around that are a little bit more overpowering, you tend to kind of like step back and keep things to yourself. And I think something that's like a little bit like triggering at first in this connection is this person is like so active and seems to have like a little bit more of an exuberant energy, than you. And it feels like your communication styles and just like your like love languages are a little bit different at first. And I think it takes some time for the two of you to really figure out how to communicate with one another, um, in a way where you really feel balanced. Um, and I do feel like maybe at points, like when you first meet this person, it might be a little bit of like stop and go. Like, we have treading water here and emotional double duty. And I kind of get the sense that like one or both of you may be just honestly going through a lot, and it may impact your ability to really give to this connection. So there may be like points in time at the beginning where it gets a little bit confusing, where it seems like maybe one of you pulls back a little bit or the other pulls back. Like, you just kind of seem to like miss each other a little bit. Um, and there may be like you may perceive each other as maybe being too busy, or like not not being as interested as one another. But it feels like a little bit like a teeter-totter, like not necessarily in like a super unhealthy way, because you have a kind of that like runner chaser dynamic, or like anxious avoidant, like needy avoidant attachment styles. It doesn't feel like that. It literally just feels like there are some like external circumstances, and part of your challenge for this relationship is to learn, number one, how to express yourself out into the world and feel safe doing it. But two, to be able to say, okay, this person isn't doing something to me deliberately. Like, they're really struggling right now, and if they cancel plans with me, it's not because they don't want to hang out with me. It's literally because they're extremely overwhelmed and need some solo time. And I feel like it's that kind of communication that's really difficult at first, because again, your love languages are so different. I think like the core of them are very complementary, but on the surface, when you first meet each other, something just like seems a little off. And it's really about that communication and about learning from one another that's going to bring you together to a point where you feel like you can make it. Endurance is like truly a card about the long haul. And I feel like part of the issue when you first meet is that there's a lot of excitement around this. There's a lot of desire between the two of you, and it's almost overwhelming. It's almost like you want to skip 16 levels and just go completely to, like engagement marriage right off the bat. And it feels like there's almost this pressure to like get it started before you've even taken the first steps. And I think that pressure is like almost like it doesn't feel like one-sided. But again, like the two of you express yourself very differently. So I feel like for the witch person, which I'm reading as you, I feel like you may like express things a little bit sooner than your future partner will. And it's not that they don't feel the same thing. But I think they're just more action oriented. So they want to build that solid foundation before like you even start talking about, the future and things like that. And so again, it's going to be like a little bit of a negotiation in that. And I'm like noticing that this reconciliation card is just like very like flowy and airy and has all these clouds in it. Same thing with endurance. I feel like this is like something that it's just going to take time to really be able to ground in a way that feels more permanent. Like this does seem like it's not going to be just like a 2-month relationship. It feels like it's going to be something longer, because there is this like feeling of kind of like ups and downs, and it feels like with the prayer and the unseen reversed, they seem to me like there are going to be points in this relationship early on where it feels like all of your prayers are answered, and then it's going to feel like you're doubting it. And there are going to be times where you feel extremely seen and you feel like connected with the universe and connected with this person. And there are going to be times that you feel a disconnect. And honestly, I think Spirit is really talking about this message and really stressing this, because this is a connection that could really, really last. And this is a general reading, so to be perfectly honest, like I take the cards out that are very like deterministic from this romance deck, because it's going to be different for everybody. But I think Spirit really wants to emphasize that this is something that could really, really last long term, and it's going to take some learning and growing and some patience. But when it clicks, like it is really going to click, and you are going to have a partner, like not just, this is my boyfriend, girlfriend, like, no, like, this is my stable partner. Like, this is my ride or die. This is the person that has my back. This is the person that I could call at 3 a.m. and be like, yo, I gotta bury a body. Like, let's go. Like, that's the type of connection that this is. And Spirit really wants you to know, like, be gentle with yourself through this. Be gentle with the other person. Like, you're gonna know the difference between like this and say like somebody who's hot and cold and like not, honestly, like not stable, by the way that they treat you. Like, I really do feel like this person will respect the shit out of you from day one. And it's really just like trying to figure out like, okay, this person likes me and respects me. I feel confident in that. And I just have to be like more lenient, because I do know that they're going through a lot of things right now. And maybe this isn't the perfect time for a relationship, but like, I just feel like it's the right person, wrong time, but that wrong time is going to pass. And so it's kind of about like being patient and learning how to give to this person, and also them learning how to give to you. That's really going to like solve the foundation for this. I do feel like some of you may know this person already. I don't think that's the case for all of you. And I don't get like a heavy separation. So I like energy from it. So I feel like this person is like active in your life if you already know them, but things haven't really like taken shape yet. It seems like it's like more early in the waiting phase. And I feel like you may feel a little bit of disappointment at this point with how this person showed up, but if it is this person, like that will shift over time. Okay, we're gonna move on to tarot. And if this is not resonating at all, and you're like, wow, this doesn't sound like me, or a person I would date, then definitely click over to another pile. Okay, Spirit. So what can you tell me about the energy surrounding when this person is going to come into pile 1's life? What's going to be going on? I've had like really jumpy cards today as well. There's like a lot of energy going on here. Okay, so we have Justice, the 7 of Cups reversed, Knight of Wands, I just heard, okay, we have the Queen of Cups reversed. I heard like you reap what you sow. And then the Knight of Pentacles clarified by the Emperor. Okay, that's kind of making sense. So I feel like you're like almost coming out of a phase where you really haven't been prioritizing your emotional life. It feels like you're seeing a lot of success kind of as like solo dolo person. Like you are the emperor of your life. You're kind of calling all the shots and making the decisions. It does feel like 7 of Cups to me is like, this may come at a time when it just like feels like a little bit unexpected. Like you've been working really hard. You feel like you've achieved some level of success, whether it's like school, work, whatever you're working on, like you're feeling really good about it. But I also feel like there is this like little bit of an undercurrent where you may have prioritized like your achievements over really prioritizing love. And I see this as like the kind of double meaning for 7 of Cups. Like you're not really prioritizing love. You've been working hard and you're being recognized for that hard work. But what comes along with that is also this like almost unexpected romantic partner. Like I feel like you're gonna meet them in a relatively unexpected way and it's just gonna kind of like jump out of nowhere. It feels like a little bit like your emotions and feelings have been like a little bit on lockdown. Like you've just kind of like kept them in. And I got that in with the oracles as well, where like when you feel comfortable with somebody and you're around people you feel really comfortable with, like you're happy to express how you're feeling. But when it comes to expressing feelings out in the real world, like you kind of keep them close to your chest. It's not really an energy, like you may be comfortable with your emotions, but you're not very expressive with them. Like the Queen of Cups can be like she's just staring at a cup. Like she's like not really giving anything, like not really getting anything. There's really no action with it. She's just sitting with her feelings. And I feel like it's easier for you to express yourself in more of like a business setting or a professional setting with strangers. I don't feel like you're the type of person who's like telling your life story to your coworkers. You're gonna like, that's cool. I'm noticing too, like in this 9 of Pentacles, we have this little black cat, like under the robes of the white cat. It's almost like you put on this persona and you go out into the real world and you're powerful. Like people really respect that and respond to that, but you don't really let them see all of you. Um, and so I think this like this person comes in and there's just a lot of attraction, a lot of desire all at once, and it's very rapid and like very in your face. And I think that's part of like the conflicting energy of it being a little bit unbalanced at first, is like you're not normally like this when you're kind of like out in the world. Um, and I don't necessarily, I think it catches them by surprise too. Like I think that is a shared energy across the both of you, and like it doesn't feel like the right time. But the connection between you two is like so strong that you can't really let it go. So you kind of hold on to it. And it's like a little bit of a struggle bus at first, because you know, if you were going with your emperor plan of your, you know, like I want to say like your 15-step life plan, like maybe this wasn't the exact moment that you would have planned, but it's what the universe put in front of you. And like I'm just hearing like I would be a fool to pass this up. Like there's some like level of like rationality where you're like, okay, like I worked really hard and I deserve this. Like, but then it's frustrating at the same time, because it doesn't feel like it's grounding in the way that you want it to, or at the speed you want it to. And I think that's really just because like this is, while it comes in as this like straight shot, like very jarring, like it's meant to be more of a slow burn energy. It's almost like misleading because it's so intense at first. Okay, so I kind of am leaving this open so we can just ask clarifying questions. So I'm gonna ask like kind of advice on how to handle this like almost like rockiness, or I don't want to say rockiness because I don't think you're fighting. I don't feel conflict. I just feel like there's like stuff just doesn't quite click at first. So Spirit, can you tell me a little bit more about that, and how Pile 1 can handle like that bit of blockage? Like what's it going to take to unblock it? Oh, the sun. I just heard like all's well that ends well. Like it's going to take a lot of faith and a lot of trust. And it kind of looks like that cat is like, I don't know, man, that looks like a hippo to me. And are hippos slow? I feel like hippos are slower than a horse. We have the Two of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, we got a buttload of Pentacles down here, like, and the Tower. Yeah. I want to see the back of the deck energy for this too. The Chariot reversed. Okay. Okay. So, honestly, this is just really like shouting patience to me. I feel like something is going on, and I feel like this might be a little bit more on your person's side at first. I feel like they're kind of like going through a tower moment and struggling a bit. And it feels like while you are like more, like you're not like not as in touch, but like not really like actively like pursuing love right now. It seems like your life is like relatively stable. Like you're kind of working hard, it's paying off. You're just like, again, it feels like you're just like executing this like 15-step plan. So I don't know if you're like a little bit more like type A. I'm kind of like getting that vibe a little bit, or like type like B plus, because it doesn't, I don't know, like it doesn't feel like you're like that like you're not going to be devastated if you're not executing your plan like flawlessly, like to timeline, but you do have this kind of understanding of when you want to do things, how you want to do things, where you want to go. I feel like when you meet this person, like there's so much happiness around it, but there is just this like slow moving energy. And I feel like you're going to be like in the Two of Pentacles for a little while. And this person is going to be in kind of like an unstable energy when they come in. And I feel like as much as you, even if you watch this and you meet this person and you're like, okay, well, I know it's going to be a little bit like back and forth or unstable for a while, but it'll even out. I feel like it's still going to force you into a tower moment as well. And I don't think it's going to be like, Saturn return or shattering, but I do think it is going to challenge you in the way that you relate to this person and the way that you, like, there's something about self-esteem here. Like, you're learning not to look to somebody else for your self-esteem and for validation, and being able to kind of generously like offer them this Ace of Pentacles and say, hey, I know you're struggling right now. I'm here for you. Like, call me when you're ready. And I feel like if you kind of go into it with that kind of mentality, this person is going to be the type of person who's like, hey, I'm going through a really rough time right now, and I can't be there for you in the way that I really want to. But I'm going to like call you in 2 weeks and like, let's figure it out then. I feel like it's like those types of conversations where like that's an example of probably like a best case scenario of how a conversation could go. And like both of you are like very like, like generous with one another and like very patient and understanding. I feel like at first, like this is going to be a type of communication that kind of unsettles you and challenges you to like really look within and be able to give that generosity in a way that keeps you in balance. Because we have both the Two of Pentacles and the Chariot reversed. You'll find that balance eventually. Like the Two of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, that's the Three of Pentacles. That's all about foundations. But it's about building a very solid, stable foundation. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving energy. And we have the Knight of Wands, which is the fastest. So like it's going to come in with a bang, and it's going to be very confusing because then it's going to slow to a crawl. But eventually you're going to get there. So I think it's just like really like preserve your happiness, preserve the happy feelings and thoughts that you had at the beginning of this. And give that sun energy like as you're dealing with this person. And again, like you're gonna know the difference between an unstable energy or somebody who's really hot and cold, because this person isn't going to be like mean or cruel or like hurt you while they're doing this. It's really about their own internal struggles and trying to work through that so they're able to give to the connection. Yeah, this wasn't really about like what the relationship is going to look like. I guess I wasn't like too specific about that. But I feel like this message came out for a reason. I feel like this is something that could be so stable and so great for you. Like, I feel like this is like power couple vibes, where once you get past this, like this communication stuff, you are going to be on the same level. Like, because I feel like you're like, look at this row. Like, we have the Emperor and Justice, and they're just like on their thrones, like living life. And this person wants to be able to give to you at that level, and just at the time that you meet them, they can't. But once they're able to, like, this is going to be a really, really extremely solid person in your life. And you're just going to be able to accomplish really cool things with this person. Like, I see them really just supporting you and as your biggest cheerleader through whatever you want to do. And I see you doing that the same for them. And just being like a really like grounding energy for them, because they did feel like a little bit more exuberant at first. Like if you're asking about pile one or person A, and you kind of resonated more with person B, like I feel like you can be kind of like a bit more methodical, and that's really going to balance out this person's fire. Like you're going to give a lot to each other. So yeah, this is what I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. If you resonated with this reading, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm so happy and grateful to have you here, especially with my channel being so new. And above all, protect your little heart. And I will see you again in another reading. Okay, bye. Hi Pile 2s. If you picked this piece of adventuring and the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, this is your reading. So we are going to start out with some oracles that I shuffled. We're going to do kind of like an A and B type reading, but most of the reading is going to be about your connecting energies and kind of how you're showing up in the connection. So we have liaison as the central energy. Your person, well, I'm calling them your person, but person A is represented by True North. You, or person B, is represented by Freya. Just by the way, like you may be person A and we might be asking about person B. I'm reading kind of A, B, but in this reading in particular, they might be flip-flopped. You may kind of see yourself across the pile, and that's totally okay, because I haven't set up the spread to be really prescriptive like that. As things that are like your strengths in the relationship, I am visionary and I am disciplined. Something that is kind of like an area of growth for you, or what you're learning in the connection. I am becoming a better person. And these are shared energies as well. We have give your relationship a chance, and we have finances and career to clarify that. We have the orphan and the destroyer reversed. And then we have paging ground control and briar patch. Okay, friends. So this is definitely like a strong specific energy. So I'm going to describe it. If it doesn't sound like you, definitely click to a different pile. I don't think it's not necessarily a bad message. It's kind of like how, let's just get into it and I'll explain it. So we have liaison as kind of the overall theme of the relationship. And liaison is an interesting card. It's about relationships with some power imbalances. But like the tricky thing about the power imbalance that like it describes as an example is you have somebody who is in a position of power and they're like, hey, like there's that hot lady, like I'm just gonna, like mess around with her. But then she's like, oh, hey, like I'm gonna go take advantage of that person in power because they have money and resources. I feel like this is a situation where you may meet this person and there may be some sort of like power imbalance like that. I think it's going to be on the table though. I don't think this is like, again, like it's kind of like a specific energy, but I don't think it's necessarily negative. We have give your relationship a chance and finances and career. I feel like the imbalance is there. And I do think that both of you are a little bit wary of it. One of you is like a little bit more like, hey, am I giving up my power to this? And somebody else is like, is this something that I really want to get into? Like, does this, like, do I feel good about this? I think the attraction here is, I think it's very physical at first. I don't think it stays like that. But I do think that because there is kind of this balance in like power dynamics, I do think it's a challenge for both of you. Um, it feels like the true North person feels like they kind of are like stronger, possibly older. Like they have their sights set on the prize and they know where they're going. They know who they are, and they don't feel like they're willing to really like negotiate that or make compromises at first. Like they feel very strong, like strong ego. But again, like not in a damaging way. Like it doesn't feel damaging. Although like the challenge of this is I'm becoming a better person. So there are going to be challenges with this type of dynamic. Um, so I'm gonna put it out there, like if you're not attracted to somebody with where there's a power imbalance in general, like this might not be your pile. If this sounds like, you know, someone you know already in your life, or like you're around people, or like attracted to like older men, older women, something like that, like this might be energy that, you know, you align with. I feel like with the orphan here, this true north person like really is looking for a match for them. But I do feel like it is coming out of a place of lack in some ways, and that complicates this connection. Um, we have like this, so like I want to pull this to the top so we can look, but we have the snake in the true north card, and then we also have this snake wrapped around the hand. And I do feel like there are expectations that this person like puts on relationships and people they're in relationships with, where again, like this power imbalance is going to be on the table. Like it feels like this person may be older and may have more resources, and there may be kind of external influences where they're like, hey, like this this person's a gold digger or something like that. I don't think that's the case, but I do think that like that is part of the attraction, and that's okay. Like that's a dynamic that has existed for forever, and there's nothing wrong with being attracted to like a certain type of lifestyle, if that's what you want. I think the thing here that's going to be a balancing act is making sure that like the Freya person is able to stand like in her power, whether male or female. I'm just going to call her because Freya's her. I think that like there may be a tendency to kind of like use this power dynamic as a form of control. And I think that's this person's challenge in this relationship. What I do think is like really like positive about this person though is like they know where they want to go and they're disciplined enough to do it. And I feel like they're a very supportive partner. Like if you two decide to give this a chance, even though I feel like for people around you, it might be a little bit of like an unexpected choice, or like there may be like societal or structural reasons why it feels like maybe you shouldn't do this. I do think this person is going to support you like almost ruthlessly. Like when you're able to kind of like iron out what this power dynamic looks like in your relationship, like they're going to teach you how to advance your career, and they're going to support you and be your biggest cheerleader. Like I feel like this person is a very, very like loyal person. And once you're in with them, you're in. I feel like for the person on the right, Freya person, I feel like this is going to be like a relatively confusing situation to be in. Actually, you know, I said before, like, if you're attracted to this type of situation, maybe this is your pile, but I almost feel like this isn't the norm for either of you. I think this is like something where, like, this is new, this is exciting, this is like a dynamic that you haven't experienced before, at least for some of you. But I feel like it's almost like intoxicating and confusing. And I think the power dynamic really comes into play because this person just has like the age and the experience and other things going on in their life to focus on. So like if there's a stressful argument or something, or you're having difficulties kind of like navigating the social pressures of this relationship, I think this person might just like go to work. But you may not have, like, if you're the younger person or the person kind of with less like traditional power in the relationship, like you might not have those same things. Like you feel like you're younger, you're still working on these things. Like you admire that this person has created so much stability and created so much success for themselves. But you do kind of feel like maybe like you're a little bit scratched up, like you have some wounds that you are still working on. And I feel like self-worth and feeling really comfortable in a relationship where like it almost feels like maybe this is a relationship where it's the first time where the focus isn't fully on you. Like this person is like, I'm a full-on adult, like I got shit to do, I gotta go run my business, I gotta go to work, like we can talk about this like when I'm home. And like maybe you're in school or you haven't figured out your career yet and you just don't have that like same thing to go to. I feel like this is going to be a struggle for you to like really like find your path and find that self-worth, in order to really like step into your power. Because the thing about liaison is there's a potential for this relationship to have like an imbalance, but there's also a potential for like the meeting of two people both very strong in the relationship and a very equal balanced partnership. And it's really about like navigating the dynamic so that both of you feel like you're empowered. Like this person doesn't run you, you're not completely submissive. Like that might be part of the dynamic and part of the attraction, but you're both full on adults. Like you're grown ass men and women, like you can do whatever you want, right? Like this person isn't controlling your life, like you're not manipulating them, like you're adults. And I think because like this feels like it's just a little bit of a like non-traditional relationship in the eyes of society, or a little bit different, I do feel like that comes into play at first, and you need to navigate it, and really trust in each other that you're going to have each other's back, and that you have the best intentions in mind. Because I do kind of feel like there's going to be like a little bit of like chatting or questioning, and that's going to complicate things. Like, oh, well, like, are you sure that, you know, your partner isn't just here for the money? Or like, oh, like, you know, I wouldn't let my partner say or do that to me, or like tell me what to do, you know, like things like that, where just it feels like it's going to take a little bit of like ironing out. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like pile one felt like it was kind of rocky at first too, but also like this potentially could be like ride or die energy. Like this person will support the shit out of you. Okay, let's move on to tarot. Okay, Spirit, can you tell us a little bit about the energy that pile two will be in when they meet this person? What are kind of the situations? pull one story right here. This is like the briar patch energy. I feel like you feel like a little bit like bruised up. Okay, and then I want to ask, like, down here, a little bit more detail on like what this relationship is going to look like. Like when you're able to kind of stabilize it and work through these things. Okay. So when you meet your next person, I feel like you're coming into this in a place like a little bit where it feels like you've been kind of like fighting for a while. I kind of have the energy that you felt like a little bit like just like cut up, like scratched up, that kind of briar patch energy. And then we have the Five of Swords here as well. It feels like you're coming off maybe the tail end of like a little bit of a heartbreak, or your cup just doesn't feel full. You kind of feel like you kind of lost your mojo a little bit is what it feels like. So we have the Ace of Cups reversed, the Five of Swords. We have the Ace of Swords reversed, and then the Moon, and then the Empress. Which is interesting because I feel like even though you have this energy of like being scratched up a little bit, like and I'm just going to call this you. I think most of the people in this pile will, even just looking at my target demo, like it's probably you. Even though you kind of seem like you're going through something, like you are represented by the Empress and Freya. Like I feel like you have so much abundance to offer. I think that you are learning to get comfortable with this Empress energy, like, and really feeling like you have this like degree of self-empowerment that nobody can take away from you. That's kind of why I feel like, although like the power dynamics can be an issue in some relationships, and it's gonna play part in this, I feel like if you hold on to this inner strength and this kind of divine feminine energy, like you're gonna be in a good kind of stable place to really own your power and own that relationship and like be cool no matter whatever anybody says to you. But I do think that like it just feels like you're in a little bit of a triggered spot right now. And honestly, for some of you, like you might meet this person because you're like coming out of a heartbreak and you're like, well, why not? Like it kind of feels like you have like almost this energy of like, okay, well, this shit didn't work out. So, you know, I could either sit at home and like sit with my emotions, like this is the moon, or I could just like go out and like be a fucking queen and like put myself out there. It just feels like you have this kind of like determined energy. And I think that's part of the attraction with this person is like you both have a very like you have a lot of drive and a lot of motivation, and I think this person's ability to turn that drive and motivation into something like a career, of a company. I feel like they're like they own a business or something like that. Like I feel like that is so attractive to you because eventually you want to do something like that. And you kind of recognize that like you don't feel like you're fully in your power right now, and there's been some sort of like an ending or difficult patch. Um, but you're kind of like, let's get right back out there. Like, I'm determined, I'm strong, I'm gonna work through this. Um, so then we have like this energy of what the relationship is actually going to look like. We have the Queen of Wands here. Like, I feel like the physical attraction in this connection is going to be like completely off the charts. Like, we have the King of Cups as well reversed. Like, I feel like emotions, when it comes to just like emotional intimacy, is going to be a little bit less of a focus. And part of that, I feel like, is that you both are kind of like so driven in the material world that that is just like not either of your strengths. Like, I feel like you're much more comfortable like showing affection through action than maybe like sharing feelings. I do think that there's a tendency though, like, because you're not really like focused as much on sharing kind of like the emotional aspects, I think one of the challenges for this, like once it grounds, is like it feels like communicating about your emotions, like you might find yourself like in that passionate energy while you're doing it, and it feels like there may be like words at times that kind of unbalance the connection. I do think that you're going to be working through a sense of kind of like possessiveness and like being possessed by this person. Again, like you both feel like you're kind of like more physical people. I feel like on some level, both of you are like, wow, like I got this catch. But then it's really like what you do after that, right? Like, it's still a relationship. You can't just like objectify the shit out of each other for like the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. And I think that, we have temperance in reverse here as well. Like, I think that it's going to take time to really balance out that energy and really like form the basis for that really like good communication. And I think it's going to change kind of slowly over time. Like, I do feel like your passions may be like running high for a while. Like, you're gonna kind of like sit in that high. And then we have the Death card reversed. Like, I feel like this is going to be the kind of like make or break it like decision. Like, can you transition from this just like kind of like objectifying energy into something that's much more stable and emotional and balanced? Like, there is always going to be that fire there. That attraction is like, it's on the table, right? Like, that power dynamic is on the table, but it's really like going a level deeper than that. That's going to say like, okay, well, this is transitioning just from like this liaison, this fling, into something where I can see myself with this person long term. Like, this connection is deeper, it's more emotional, it's grounded. It feels like, like this T-bone angel is like, an angel is like in a pot on her head. Like, you're going to feel like this is like a heaven sent connection. Oh, so beautiful. I think this is it. Like, I really think this is just like how the two of you decide to tackle it. Like, if you decide that person isn't who you want for your next significant relationship, because you have free will, like, you don't have to choose this person. You may meet them and just be like, nah, I'm good. I feel like you are that kind of like strong, like empress, like badass, where you might just be like, nah, this is like too much. But if you do choose it and you let it go beyond that fiery energy, like, the fiery energy is going to be there. That's going to be kind of like a struggle, like how you communicate with each other, and how you navigate the dynamic. But if you choose it, it's going to be a very deep and meaningful connection. So yeah, interested in what you do. But this is all I have for you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. This was really fun, really beautiful. Thank you for bringing your energy. If this resonated, please like, comment, subscribe. That really helps me grow my channel. Above all, protect your little heart. And I hope I see you again soon. Okay, bye. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this little amethyst friend, this is your reading. I'm going to move the tarot out for a second. We are going to look at your oracles. I pre-shuffled a bunch of them. We'll look into the energy surrounding your connection, and then we're going to do a person A-B format. I usually read person A as the person that is going to be coming into your life, and then person B as you. You may see mirroring across, and you may find that you're either person A or B, but mostly we'll be talking about like the energy surrounding the connection. So I don't think it's like as important in this relationship to really have a hard line. But okay, we have innocence as your central energy. For your person, we have blue moon. You are ready. Make your masterpiece. For you, I think this card came first. We have spells and rituals, bring magic and self-care together, and manifestation. What you seek is seeking you. As the energy that's kind of like highlighted as your strengths between the two of you in this connection, we have 44, I am supported, and 666, I am centered. As a challenge, we have I am starting to understand our connection. Central energies, we have heart-to-heart conversations and unrequited love. And then we have the animal and the storm. And I left some cards over here, so let me grab those. Oh yeah, we had a lot of these. So we have chutes and ladders, vibrations in water, neighborhood, and Mars balanced. So let's start with the central energy. Actually, I'm going to give you some commentary in general. Like, this does feel like this is a spiritual connection. And it feels like maybe when you meet this person, like, you're not quite ready for it. Like, there seems to be like, first we have the challenges. I'm starting to understand our connection. I feel like one of you may recognize that first. Like, this person on the right, who I would like generally consider to be you with this like spells and rituals, and then this manifestation card. I feel like you have been waiting for a connection like this for kind of a long time. And you're a little bit more connected to your spirituality and kind of your divine nature when you meet this person. I feel like this person on the left, like with the animal here, I feel like they are more grounded in the real world, and we have like this person on the ground as well. Like, you're kind of flying in the air, they're on the ground. I feel like they're a more grounding presence in general, like, but they also feel like they are starting to understand their own divinity. And then we have the innocence card, and the innocence card can talk about like the sentiment of like, you can trust that people are have the best intentions. But there's also, it talks a little bit about like naivety. And at the same time, like, if it's meant for you, you can let it go and it will come back. And I feel like this is a connection where once it grounds, like, you are going to feel very centered and very supported by the universe. And these cards have like so many stars in the background, and like there's stars in the back of these cards. Like, I feel like there's like something very, very spiritual and very beautiful about this conversation, or this conversation. I was reading conversations about this connection. I do think that it's going to take a bit of time. I think out of all the piles, like, I would hazard a guess that you already kind of have an idea who this is. Either like it just isn't working out, like it's not moving forward. Neighborhood tells me that this is like somebody that you've known for a while. You know, like they're from like your neighborhood, from your hood, like. And I do feel like for some of you with this unrequited love, I feel like you may be in a situation where like this person has rejected you or told you that they don't feel the same way. But something is changing in this connection, because like this card has both like balanced Mars energy and unbalanced energy, depending on how it falls. And it's falling as balanced. And so I do feel like Mars is about forward facing action and fire and kind of like putting discipline into action. He's like Saturn's right hand man. I feel like the universe is going to put this into motion, like when it is going to benefit the both of you the most. And I think it really comes down to you being able to balance the storm within you. I feel like you have a lot of creative, magical power. And I feel like this connection has made you focus a lot on this other person. And if you haven't met this person yet, it will make you focus a lot on them. You're like, but this is right. It feels right. And you're ready, but they're just not ready. And it's interesting because like this animal, its eyes are blue. We have this blue moon card. This lady's body is blue, and then there's all these like blue. I don't think you can see. Maybe you can see a little bit. Like, there's just like this theme of blue with all these like cycles of the moon. I feel like this is something that, and there's, I guess, a strikeout in the middle of the moon too. I think my card's messed up. But I feel like this is something that is going to like leave and come back around. Kind of full stop, like, and it might take a while. Because this person is like fully in their like 3D reality when you first meet them. And you're kind of like up in the air, you're doing your crazy witchy like stuff. And this like feels like a bolt of lightning that just like knocks you off that broom. And I think it really teaches you to like go within and really truly like figure out how to love yourself and give yourself that self-care that you need. This person has a very like similar path, but your path is more, how do I ground myself and keep myself in reality? And their path is exactly opposite. Their path is, I am too grounded in reality, and I need to trust my intuition, and I need to trust what it's telling me, and I need to trust my feelings. Like, innocence is also a lot about like trust in feelings and your intuition. And this person is truly just like fully in the 3D world. But at some point, they're going to open their eyes. And they're going to be able to see. And I am getting the message that, like, for some of you, this may not be something that actually, like, grounds into, like, a full-on relationship. which is like kind of weird for like a significant relationship reading. But if this specific person does not ground, the next person will. This is just like the next significant relationship in your journey to find love. And it is a spiritual connection. Like this is kind of how they go. Like, and it's kind of interesting. Like I've experienced this before too, where it's somebody you have an extremely like intense connection with, but nothing really happens, but it fundamentally changes you as a human being, like the complete fiber of yourself. And regardless of this, of if this comes around or not, you are going to be profoundly changed by this person. And when you emerge from this, you are truly going to be like a phenomenally balanced version of yourself where you really support, like you feel supported by the universe. And I feel like the two of you will like understand that you had this impact on each other, whether or not it actually comes back around to a full-on relationship. Because for some of you, I feel like it will. For others, it's going to open a door and you're going to walk through that door. And because this is going to change you so completely, like I feel like, I don't know, I'm just looking at these heart-to-heart conversations, like I feel like you're going to have a conversation with this person at some point, and the two of you are either going to decide that it's for you or not for you. But it doesn't feel like it's really like written in stone that it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. Like it feels like one of those moments where it's your free will and you get to decide. Like, is this something for me or is this something that I've just outgrown? Because the thing is, like, you are going to grow immeasurably from this connection even before you get the opportunity to date this person, like fully date them. And it really depends like how fast this person can grow and whether they can keep up. Like that's really what it feels like. I feel like you're kind of like already so far ahead out the gate, and this person does feel like a little bit stuck in the 3D world, and they're gonna get there. But I think that's the choice between like innocence and like naivety. Like you're gonna look at them and you're gonna think, okay, well, you were for me at this point in my life, but I've changed so much now. Like, are you still for me? And I feel like it's kind of gonna be up to you. Okay, let's move on to tarot. Oh my gosh, these cards are so slippery, and honestly, I just got this deck, so they're pretty stiff, and I can't really shuffle them in a bridge yet. So we're just gonna do a light shuffle because I awkwardly shuffled them off camera for a while. Okay, so since this is kind of like a particular vibe, I think I'm going to ask, like, first row, what you can expect when you meet this person, and then also like what you can expect or like the kind of energy like when it comes back around, so you can kind of get a sense for that. Okay, so we have the Queen of Swords, the Chariot, and the Magician. That's that manifestation energy. I want to take that card. And then we have the... Is that the Nine of Cups? Yeah, the Nine of Cups reversed. Okay. I don't usually pull cards out like that, but they've been calling to me. Okay. And then when this comes back around, what is... I just heard enlightenment, but it's not guaranteed. We have, okay, we have the Hanged Man, we have Judgment in reverse, and then the Ace of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and how do you want to go? I'm going to leave Strength like that. It feels like, that feels right. And then back of the deck, we have the Five of Cups reversed. Okay. So, I think you are in, like, when you meet this person, and this, for some of you, this may be in the past if you already know this person. But I feel like this is just, like, kind of consistent energy for you. Like, you are in, like, a high-powered space in terms of, like, your spirituality. Like, I feel like your connection with your spirituality has grown immensely. And you're really kind of stepping into your power and really understanding, like, what that means for your life. And I feel like your connection with your spirituality is starting to, like, help you advance in life. And I feel like it's because, like, your connection to spirit has really prompted a lot of self-growth. Like, I see this Queen of Swords as you, like, really mastering kind of head over heart. Like, it does feel to me like you come from kind of, like, more of, like, a heart space energy. And I feel like you're very intelligent too. But maybe, like, you tend to be emotional, and kind of, like, follow emotional whims. And because, like, this witch is, like, pretty whimsical. Like, if we look at this, like, she whimsical, you know? I feel like you're learning that, like, whimsy can only get you so far. And if you really want to create something solid, like a solid foundation in this world, like, you need something else to back it up too. Like, you can have these, like, whimsical daisies and little sunflowers around you, but you also need to, like, use your logical mind and figure out, like, what your next step is and how logically you're going to progress. Like, it's like the difference between going and, quote unquote, like, manifesting by, like, whispering to the universe on a mountain what you want, and then, like, going home and, like, eating a bag of chips on the couch, you know, like, or going out with your friends. Like, it's between that and going and, like, whispering to the universe on a mountain what you want, and then going home and creating a business plan and executing it day by day and checking off a list and making sure you do everything. And I feel like you've been learning that you need both. Like, you need the spirituality, and you also need the concrete action and the logical planning and foresight and execution to be able to reach your dreams and your goals. And I feel like you're, like, starting to put that in practice and seeing a lot of success from it. And it might be early stages, but, like, you've already noticed that, like, this is the way. And this is something that, like, it feels like you may have been missing in the past. With the Nine of Cups here, it does feel like while you're making a lot of this progress, it kind of feels like you are unable to make progress in your love life in the same way that you are in other aspects of your life. It's almost like it feels like since you have started utilizing this like more logic and reason based like attitude or view or kind of methodology, you're starting to look around and saying, okay, well, I also want like my Nine of Cups moment. Like, I want to feel emotionally fulfilled. I want my wishes to come true. And it kind of feels like with this Two of Swords here, something just isn't working. Like, you're unable to get your Ten of Cups moment. And I think like I feel like there's like some like self-protectiveness here where maybe you've made some foolish decisions in the past, like when it comes to love, or have given trust to people that you shouldn't. Like, and I don't want to say like foolish, like I feel like you feel like it was foolish looking back on it. Like now you have this kind of like reason-based perspective on it. And at the time, like you acted out of passion or you acted out of love. And now you're looking back and thinking, oh, well, I did that before and I don't really want to do it again. And it feels like you're in this like very like reason-based mentality when you meet this person. And so that like, I think that causes strain for you at first as well, like when you meet them, because you've told yourself, okay, well, I'm going to use my logical brain to logic through my next partner. And then this person comes in and it's all emotion when it comes to your attraction to them. And there's this tug between, oh, like, I know I need to make a decision on this person and I should use my logical brain, but it feels like you're struggling and kind of going back and forth between like 9 cups and 2 swords. And it feels like it causes a little bit of internal chaos. I do feel like at some point though, like it feels like you're the one to like cut the cord. And I feel like it's because you do kind of figure out that you are in this connection as it stands at the beginning for mainly emotional reasons. And when you really fully like step into this Queen of Swords energy and you're able to reason through it, I think you do realize that like this is not like the right connection for me like at this moment, and you kind of like nip it in the bud as there's like all these buds in the cards. Like it does feel like there's like a little bit of like your reason steps in it at some point and you kind of have to make a decision and you can't keep those blinders on anymore. Okay. When they come back, this was why I was feeling like there were a couple camps with how this is going to go. And it feels like it's not, it's in flux. Like there are options and it really depends on how awakened this person is and how far your personal development goes as well. Like I think there is like a distinct possibility that you will outpace this person. And that's okay. Like I fully believe that like we don't have one partner here on earth. Like we're sent so many people to teach us on our journey. And I don't know, I think we get bought into finding our true love and the person we're going to be with forever, and this is my soulmate, this is my twin flame, like assigning these labels to it. And I tend to like think in more shades of gray. Like we have a soul family and we have karmic ties to people and we make soul contracts and we sign up to learn something from them and to teach them something. And I think this is one of those cases where you have free will and this person has free will as well. Like there isn't one outcome that could potentially come from this situation. And it really depends on how much spiritual growth the two of you go through. And you may be equal, you may outpace them. Yeah, especially like with Judgment and the Ace of Swords next to each other in reverse. It's like, the potential is there for this spiritual awakening and for this clarity, for this person to really like realize that this is a spiritual connection, kind of come out of the earth in this like little like casket. But it's not guaranteed. There is going to be growth for both of you, and I think you in particular are going to see some material success. Like you're learning to balance your head and heart, and it's creating a lot of forward movement in your life. And I think when you cut the ties with this person, kind of the first time it comes around, you're going to be working on something, and you're going to be like working really hard. It's like all that energy that was kind of going into this person, once you cut it, you're going to be dumping into yourself. And I think you're going to have a lot to show from that. And I think kind of the rub here is like, is this connection strong enough? And did you both put in the same amount of effort to growth? Because if you did, then there's a potential for this connection to come back around. Like if there's not, like Five of Cups for me, it's about realizing that like there's still joy there. There's still 2 cups left standing. Like all is not lost. But that's not guaranteed in this situation. Like I feel like it really is up to you and your person to really dig deep, and you're going to be doing this at separate paces, and you're going to be doing this like in completely separate lanes. So if this person is somebody that you've known for a while and like they're in your social network, you might have an idea of where they're at. If not, like you could get communication straight out of the blue from this person. Like Ace of Swords in reverse to me also has this like degree of surprise to it. It's kind of like the Seven of Cups in reverse for me. Like you might get communication from this person like way out of left field. Like you've given up, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna put my energy into me. I know I want this 10 of Cups moment. I'm gonna create this for myself, whatever. And this person just surprises the shit out of you. But I do think this is going to like come around in some form. Like it's not just going to be you're never going to see this person ever again. There's going to be some sort of decision point where you get to decide like, yes, this person is right for me now, or you know what, like thank you for all the lessons you've taught me, and I know that there's somebody better suited out for me. Is that a real sentence? It's Pal 3. But I think you are going to have that moment where you get to decide whether this person has grown enough and whether it's right. And either way, like either this person is going to match you, or it's going to open the door for you finding like your forever person. I think this situation is going to change you in just like leaps and bounds, like immeasurable ways. I know this was like a little bit not about like your next significant relationship. I feel like some of you are like maybe in the thick of this right now, but just know you're going to get through it. Like you're going to be successful, you know, take care of yourself. I think that was like really a big emphasis for your cards is you were strong, you were spiritually strong. Like, nurture yourself, keep yourself protected, keep yourself cleansed. If you need to do cord cuttings, I feel like this is also a sign that you could potentially need a cord cutting as well. There are a bunch of people on YouTube that do Reiki cord cuttings. I like Adia ASMR. I've linked that video on too many of my videos so far, but I love it. I come back to it constantly. I feel like once you kind of clear that energy out and you dump it into yourself, you're going to feel a lot better. So yeah, this is all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Again, I feel like I need a part 2 for you of like, if this doesn't pan out, like who's coming, but I feel like the universe wants that to be a surprise for you, truly. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I am just so grateful to have you here. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy. I'm really excited for this journey and this growth for you. I hope you protect your little heart, protect your energy. And if this resonated, please like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me grow my channel. But above all, stay safe, and I will see you in another reading.